black nationalism. He may be a brave contender for this position, but should he abandon his supposed obedience to the white liberal doctrine and none?
Be a man. Tell him he sucks to his face. Don't come to the show and then afterwards shake his hand, say he's funny, and then take pictures. Not once, but twice.
Intelligence, it should be possible to pinpoint potential troublemakers and neutralize.
You show up and you forgot your sweat towel because you're so fat and sloppy. You sit down. Yo, this is the only person I know that sweats sitting down. We have to have our air conditioning full blast whenever this motherfucker comes over. I have to dress warmly in the middle of summer in LA just to do these interviews.
Be a man and look him in the eye and say it. Or don't say nothing at all, you fucking coward. You fucking liar.
It's
No,
not,
fuck that.
It's not necessary.
It's necessary for me.
The Aries Spears and DJ Vlad fallout has reached the point where it's not really about money anymore. It started with money. It started with Aries wanting a pay bump for his Vlad TV appearances, especially after Vlad publicly discussed what he pays Boozy. Once those numbers entered the conversation, Aries looked at his own value and basically said, "Hold on, what about me?" That part is understandable. If you're one of the recurring guests people associate with a platform and you keep seeing fans say they only subscribe when you're on, of course you're going to wonder if you're being underpaid. Aries' argument is not crazy. He's saying, don't just look at raw numbers. Look at loyalty. Look at the people who show up specifically for me. Look at the value I bring beyond one clip. But the reason this exploded is because Vlad clearly felt disrespected. That, to me, is the real story. The pay dispute was the surface issue. The disrespect is what lit the fire.
So the $25,000 thing comes out. I'm out with my kids, right? We're doing like an escape room, if you know what that is.
Yeah.
Right? I'm out with my twins. We're doing an escape room, and I'm enjoying my time with my kids. So then I get these text messages from Aries. Yo, Boosie's getting $25,000. We need to renegotiate. And look at these comments. Look at these YouTube comments. I only watch Vlad TV when Aries on. Yo, Aries needs a raise. Aries is my favorite guest. He's the only one I watched. And I said, well, first of all, you just got raised up. You get nowhere near the views of Boosie. Nowhere near the views. Like, Boosie's just a way bigger figure. The shows that Boosie does are massive compared to what Aries Spears does. Like, Boosie on camera is way more entertaining than damn near anybody. Boosie's a force, man. He's an awesome personality. And on top of it, when I told him, you know, the whole thing with Boosie getting paid 25, Boosie was really getting paid 20, but then I figured out a way to get him more money by doing house tours. You see what I'm saying? So it's really 20 plus 5 for the house tour. And a lot of times the interview might not make the 20, but the house tour will make some extra money. And overall, it makes money. Me and Aries don't do house tours. And I'm like, fam, like, you just got raised up. We can't have a conversation based on YouTube comments.
That sounds small, but it matters. When you're with your family, you're in a completely different headspace. You're not thinking about business negotiations, contracts, YouTube analytics, and who deserves what. So if you're already a sensitive person and a money dispute pops up in the middle of that, it can feel like somebody is dragging stress into your personal time. Then the phone call situation sealed it. Vlad says he set aside time to talk to Aries about the pay increase. Aries allegedly agreed, and then when the time came, Aries brushed him off with a short text. In Vlad's mind, that probably didn't feel like a missed call. It felt like Aries was playing with him. That's why Vlad went nuclear. Because to Vlad, this wasn't simply Aries wants more money. It became Aries thinks he can summon me, make me clear my schedule, then blow me off. That kind of thing hits differently when someone already believes respect and control are slipping. And once Vlad felt disrespected, the business relationship was basically over.
The one stupid motherfucker for today goes by the name of Vlad. Oh, shit. This motherfucker.
Oh, we're doing this?
We're doing this. Listen, man, I don't know. Listen, I don't know internet shit. I hear words like algorithm, viral. I don't know that this is going viral, but it's everywhere, and apparently everybody got something to say. Listen, man. Just so y'all know how this whole thing really popped off. I said to Vlad about wanting more money. He said to me. And listen, sometimes, and I'm guilty of this myself. The way you talk to people, if you don't talk to people the right way, and I'm not saying I talk to him the wrong way, but Vlad is such a narcissist and sensitive. And listen, I'm an egomaniac. I got my flaws as far as some of that goes, so I'm owning up to that. But I'm also not gonna kiss your ass, which is to say, I guess in Vlad's mind. Maybe I approached this wrong, even though I just simply said, yo, man, I would like a little bit more money. To which he said, and this is where he kind of rubbed me wrong, where he just goes, something, and he said it so blatantly, like, you know, you don't do what Boozy does, and I don't care what people say in terms of them telling you, yo, I watch the show for you. When you're not on, I don't care for it. When you're on, I buy subscriptions. The minute you leave, I cancel the subscription. All I'm simply going to say is there's value in that. And I know I don't get the numbers that Boosie gets. So I'm not asking for what Boosie gets. But what I'm saying is if there is value and people telling you that, yo, I watch because of him, I get subscriptions because of him, well, the nigga, break a little bread. Because if I'm the last of the Mohicans, and I thought Tony Yayo wasn't on anymore, but he still is, as far as I know, Lord Jamar quit. Godfrey, I know for sure, quit. Boozy, because he's not getting the money he wants, he quit. If I'm one of the last staples left that generate numbers, work with me.
But the story changed again while this whole thing was still moving. Because after all the insults, after banning Aries from Vlad TV, after the academic sit down, after the memes, and after both sides went back and forth online, Vlad has now accepted Aries' request to come back on the show.
Bring me back and let's go through it.
Now, this dude crashed out trying to get a raise, and now he wants to come back and do it for free. And here's the thing: when I first saw that, I said, man, fuck this dude. I'm not gonna do an interview for free. But the problem is, man, is that he pulled out his Jewish kryptonite.
What is that?
Free.
Oh my God, yes.
He said 100% off.
I think he's just trying to capitalize off the moment.
Man, listen, you can't tell a Jewish person that it's free. Expect them to have to do something.
Yeah.
So Aries Spears, you can come back.
So
you can come back and do a free interview, but there's certain rules to this, right? Number one, no makeup.
No makeup.
You're gonna have to do your own makeup, or pay Candace, or just come in look like Kung Fu Panda. It's totally up to you.
I mean, what he looks like without makeup.
Kung Fu Panda.
Can you pull it up? Like,
Yeah.
I have your editor side by side.
Yeah, we'll put up Kung Fu Panda so you can see, right?
And now Aries has responded with a new Instagram video asking fans whether he should actually go back on Vlad TV. That is the clearest sign yet that this situation is still alive. Because if Aries was completely done, there would be no question to ask. He would just say, I'm not going back, and leave it there. But asking the audience means he's at least considering it. Or at minimum, he wants to know how much public support he has before making the next move.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Aries Spears here. Hey, I got a quick question for y'all. So, Vlad hit me up and he said to me, will you come back on my show like you said you would so we could address this face-to-face, mano y mano? And I told him, let me think about it. Give me 48 hours and I'll have an answer for you. But I want to ask you guys a question. And before I ask, let me say this. So I didn't see the whole thing, but people kept telling me he did a part 2 on me with Tekashi 6ix9ine. And one of the jokes he made was he said, I look like Kung Fu Panda. And one of the things I said was that Vlad is a liar. He lies. So one of the questions I want to ask, which is why I have a problem possibly doing this, is because if you lied once and you're a snake and you bit me once, that means you're going to bite me again. Where did Vlad get that joke from? Kung Fu Panda. You know where? He got it from me. When he came to my show, I do a thing where if somebody big and obese gets up, I call him Kung Fu Panda. And here's a guy that says or wants to make you believe he knows comedy. But yet you took one of my jokes to use it on me. Did he say that part? Should I go back? Let me know.
But before Vlad opened that door again, Aries had already made it clear on Spears and Steinberg that he was not backing down. He called Vlad a liar, a snake, and a narcissist, and spent much of the episode pushing back on Vlad's version of events.
Tell me about Candace,
Who's Candace?
the makeup artist.
What about her?
She's all the rave now. She sounds amazing.
Yeah, she's a makeup artist. And yeah, for the record, yes, I would have a makeup artist cover up the dark spots around my eyes because one, it's hot as a motherfucker with them lights on. So yes, I do sweat, hence the towel. And with the makeup on and the powder, it helps stop the sweating so I don't perspire as much. But I'm not ashamed about that. Listen, when you go on any late night talk show, whether it's Leno, Colbert, Letterman, whatever, yo, the guests put on makeup. They put on makeup. When you shoot a movie, in the movies, you put on makeup. So that's nothing new. So fuck you for that too.
Just to clear that up, though, is that his makeup artist or you bring the makeup artist in?
I know Candace. He knows Candace. So we both like when I go in there, he just calls Candace to come in and do it. But she's not part of his staff.
Can we give her a plug right now?
We just did.
Aries tried to present it like, yeah, I use makeup, so what? And fair enough. There's nothing wrong with makeup under studio lights, but there is a little irony in saying you don't care while also making sure you use it. The reason it matters is because Aries has been roasted for years over the dark areas under his eyes. Corey Holcomb has constantly called him the gooey raccoon, and that insult clearly stuck in the public conversation around Aries. So when Vlad brings up makeup, he knows what he's doing. He's not just talking about production, he's touching an insecurity, and that's what made this whole fallout so ugly. Both men know where the weak spots are. Vlad knows Aries is sensitive about being respected as a legend. Aries knows Vlad is sensitive about being seen as a culture vulture, a narcissist, or a man desperate to be accepted by the same black celebrities he interviews. So every response gets personal fast. The Andy Steinberg part made it even messier. Vlad didn't just attack Aries, he went after Steinberg hard, calling him trash, saying he has terrible timing, zero crowd control, and claiming Aries only keeps him around because Aries is insecure and wants a weaker comedian next to him. Vlad also claimed Aries privately agreed that Steinberg sucks. Aries and Steinberg pushed back by calling Vlad a hypocrite.
Shut the up when grown folks are talking. The only reason Aries has this dude around is because he's a 60-year-old white man that has no other options in life and will say yes to anything he does. And Aries is too insecure to actually have a really talented opening act. So he has this guy that makes him look better because this guy is so bad.
Jeez.
Yeah, man. The both of them. So you have the worst timing I've ever seen of any comedian. You have zero crowd control. And if you think that I'm just saying this because I'm in the moment, ask Aries about the phone call I made the day after going to your show where I said the exact same thing to Aries and he agreed with me.
Which is
So
a fucking lie.
at the end of the day, man, you will not see Aries on Vlad.
That's a fucking lie. And again, be a man. Tell him he sucks to his face. Don't come to the show and then afterwards shake his hand, say he's funny, and then take pictures. Not once, but twice. Be a man and look him in the eye and say it. Or don't say nothing at all, you fucking coward. You fucking liar.
It's
No,
not,
fuck that.
It's not necessary.
It's necessary for me.
Okay. But here's the thing that's really funny about this. He's mad about, there's some other thing that it's not in that clip, but he goes, that's why I said I didn't know what clip you had or what you saw. But there's one when he says, yeah, he was saying some slick shit about me. And I talked to Mark when I saw him on Friday. This is how concerned I am. On Friday, I go, what did I say? Did I say anything? And he goes, yeah, you said something about him taking pictures, about him wanting pictures, taking the pictures after the shows with everybody. And I asked Aries. Aries didn't even know what I said. So, because he didn't, if that's the clip you saw, you didn't even hear him say that. Here's the thing, man. If you think it's slick, that's one thing. But Vlad, you go to you come to the show, but you stay for the photo. You know, you really do. You did that. You did that when you saw us in Oxnard, and you like taking pictures. Here's the thing that I think. Here's what I really think. I don't need to go in on you. I really don't. It doesn't mean that much to me.
That's what you got me for.
No, but it means a lot more to him than it does to me. I don't care about this.
Get a towel.
And I get right now, and we're gonna stop recording.
Yeah.
But there's also another layer here. Aries has roasted Steinberg himself before. Anyone who watches Spears and Steinberg knows Aries has come for Andy's stage performance and comedic ability in the past.
There are times I watch you on stage and I go, Andy is in a beautiful rhythm. He's in a wave. And then you tell a joke that up your rhythm. And I go, why would you tell that joke right there? You're killing your own rhythm.
I don't know why. I do that, though.
I'm telling you, dude, to be a strong comic, there is a science to this shit. And there are times when you should be in the lab studying.
I watch other people, and they have a different approach than you do.
But what do you learn? There's something to learn from everybody, even if their approach isn't yours.
I watch other people who do what I do, and they'll kill rooms. They do that because they want it. There's like you said, like you're on a wave, and sometimes you do a trick and you just fly off the board. I've watched other people who don't worry about the laughs and worry about, like, I have to knock this motherfucker out.
But those people, with all due respect, they're better than you.
Yeah.
That doesn't automatically prove Vlad's claim that Aries agreed with him privately, but it does make the situation murkier because Aries defending Steinberg now doesn't erase the fact that their show has always had a dynamic where Aries is the dominant voice and Andy gets jabbed at. And you can see that dynamic even in this response episode. Producer Mark keeps throwing little shots at Aries.
All right. So he said, what time works? You said 5 p.m.
No, I didn't. I said, I'll let you
After
know.
5.
I said, I'll let you know.
I saw the screenshots.
I know, but I'm just saying. I said, at first, I said, I'll let you know. I'm not sure. Then he picked a time. He said, let's do it at 5. And I never responded him. And then, hold up. You know what? And this is one of the things you said about Andy, which you'll hear in this clip. He don't know timing. You were the one that when I did the eyelash bit, you put in the what is it, the thumbnail when you see the clip on YouTube and then you describe it. Is that a thumbnail? Is that what they call that?
Yeah, your social media team should make some.
But yeah. Listen, calm the fuck down.
That part stood out because while Aries is accusing Vlad of disrespect, you can see small moments on his own platform where the respect issue comes up there too. It's not the same situation, but it shows how quickly Aries can go from joking to warning somebody. That's the thing with Aries. He's funny, sharp, fast, and experienced, but he also carries himself like somebody who constantly has to remind people he's not to be played with. And that connects to the bigger point. Aries keeps calling Vlad a narcissist. He might even be right. Most people who build media platforms around themselves probably have narcissistic traits at the very least. You almost have to believe your opinion, your questions, your instincts, and your platform matter more than everyone else's to build something like Vlad TV. But it's strange hearing Aries lean so heavily on the narcissist angle when Aries has spent years calling himself a legend, a GOAT, and one of the best to ever do it.
But Michael Jordan brings it just as hard in practice as he.
All right, I'm Michael Jordan.
No, not
That's what you do. Okay.
You're Michael Jordan.
Right.
My point is that.
But let me finish my point.
How do you think I lasted?
Bobby, you let me get to it.
Okay, go ahead.
So to answer your question, yes, for 3 years, I was aloof towards you because I was just going.
3 years?
Wait a minute, goddamn. It takes a motherfucking time. I'm going, everybody else is pulling their weight and showing their mettle.
Yeah.
So, yes, he's on the team. But until he shows me his medal and he can pull his own weight,
Yeah.
I'm a little skeptical
Okay.
of it, dog. Now, was that the best thing to do? Could I have handled that better? Of course. But you got to remember how old I am. I'm young. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm learning. I'm
Okay.
a little wet behind the ears, but I'm also, and I'm not trying to be cocky, but I'm nice with it, man. I'm nice with it. I've been doing it since I was 14.
Yeah. So let me say something.
That's the first thing. But go to the
let me
second
do a
thing.
rebuttal, okay?
All right. That doesn't mean Aries is wrong about Vlad. It just means the mirror is closer than he thinks. The reason Vlad and Aries worked so well together for years is probably the same reason they eventually crashed out. They both have ego. They both are blunt. They both like control. They both believe they know the business better than the other person. At first, that creates chemistry. Over time, it creates contempt. You can only stare into a mirror for so long before you start hating the reflection looking back. That's why this fallout feels different from a normal business split. It has the energy of two men who saw too much of themselves in each other and then started punishing each other for it. Vlad's side is basically, I gave you a platform, paid you well, dealt with your behavior, and you still acted ungrateful. Aries' side is, I gave you years of great content, brought loyal viewers, helped build the audience, and you still reduced me to numbers when I asked for respect. Both sides have a point. Vlad TV is a massive machine. Aries' interviews did not exist in a vacuum. Vlad provided the audience the production, the distribution, the clip system, and the archive value. That platform can take one conversation and make it travel for weeks, but Aries is also not some random man Vlad discovered at a bus stop.
My legacy does not rest on Vlad. Before Vlad was ever a thought, 16 years, started at 14, 16 years old, debut HBO Def Comedy Jam, Martin Lawrence. 17 years old, Showtime at the Apollo, Sinbad. Appearances on Different World. 8 years on a TV sketch show that won Emmys. Movies like Jerry Maguire, The Pest with John Leguizamo, How to Sync with LL Cool J, fucking even movies that weren't great, that were fucking Break My Weed up on the DVD movies.
Josie and the Pussycat Dolls, bitch.
Josie and the Pussycats. Motherfucking, the movie I did with Lisa Ray with Robin Givens and Terrence Howard, man. Fucking, and I'm not saying, why do fools fall in love with Lorenz Tate, Halle Berry, Vivica Fox, Kings with Halle Berry and Daniel Craig, James Bond. My 7 appearances on Conan. I tour all over the world. I've been to Saudi Arabia. I've been to motherfucking Europe 3 times. I've been to Africa twice. At what point do you think, oh my God, my career hinges on Vlad? Fuck Vlad.
That's why Aries rejecting the idea that Vlad made him is fair. But rejecting Vlad's platform value completely would be dishonest too. Vlad TV gave Aries a lane that fit him perfectly. Long-form stories, impressions, blunt opinions, celebrity commentary, old comedy history, and controversial takes chopped into viral clips. That format worked for Aries in a way his own podcast has not always replicated. And that brings us to one of the strangest moments in the Spears and Steinberg discussion. Steinberg saying he doesn't really watch his own content.
What's the slick shit I said? You like to take pictures? Tell people that's what it is. Let me see one person say, Vlad, that's not true. Vlad hides from pictures and the people and doesn't want to do that. That's you.
Why would you want yourself to be interviewed? Because you want a piece of the action. You want the fame. You want to be recognized. People just knew your voice. That's why the first times they saw him, they went, "Wow, that's what he looked like." But he wanted to be seen. He wants to be famous. He wants the women to over him.
But that's not my fault. You like to take pictures, Vlad. If that's what I said, if it's something else, man, tell me what it is, because I don't know. I got to be honest. I don't even listen to my podcast after we record it.
Now it's time for the WWF.
Respectfully, that is part of the problem. If your numbers are low, you need to watch your content. Not obsessively, not in a weird, insecure way, but enough to understand what works. You need to know where the energy drops, where the clips should be pulled from, what the audience responds to, and what feels dead. If the talent doesn't want to do that, the producer should be doing it and giving notes. That's where Vlad has a real advantage. Vlad may be petty, he may be sensitive, he may be ruthless, but he watches the machine. He understands clips, timing, topics, titles, numbers, and controversy. That's why Vlad TV has lasted. You don't have to like Vlad to admit he understands internet media. That's also why his attack on Spears and Steinberg hurt. He wasn't only insulting Andy, he was saying the show itself doesn't know how to package Aries properly. And if Andy is saying he doesn't watch the content, then Vlad's criticism lands harder than it should.
Right? Because here's the thing. If you're the big franchise player, if you're the big dog, look, everyone comes because of me. Your own YouTube, channel's trash. Nobody goes there. It flops because you know why? People consume authenticity. That's a bullshit podcast. You have you and your fucking yes man who's agreeing with you on everything. It looks like shit. You're recording in motel rooms with cheap equipment, cheap mics. There is no thought or process behind it. People look at that and go like, yeah, it's Aries, but this is bullshit. Let me go watch Vlad TV, where things are actually produced and put together. It's authenticity, man. And you've seen with Boosie, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, how you can't just recreate it, man. Like, people have to realize that.
Trying to run off for the sauce, Vlad.
Yo, man, listen, you have to realize that when you look at these successful ventures, it's never just one person.
From Aries' point of view, Vlad is using their names to go viral. He's turning a private fallout into clips, views, reactions, memes, and more content. And honestly, that's probably true. But Aries is doing the same thing. That's the game now. Vlad goes on academics and roasts Aries. Aries responds on Spears and Steinberg. Vlad posts memes. Aries posts cryptic Instagram responses. Then people like me make video essays about it. The audience watches because the conflict keeps expanding. Everybody involved understands the algorithm, even when they pretend they're above it. The sad part is that this was one of Vlad TV's better recurring relationships. Aries on Vlad had real chemistry. Sometimes it was funny, sometimes it was messy. Sometimes Aries said things that made people mad, but it was never boring. Now that ship looks done. Aries even said the relationship is over, and after the way both men have spoken publicly, it's hard to see a clean path back. Once Vlad starts calling your co-host trash and you start calling Vlad a snake and a narcissist, the business relationship is probably finished. But Aries will be fine. He may lose the Vlad TV lane, but he's not done. He can go to the Art of Dialogue. He can go to other platforms. He can lean into his own podcast if they tighten it up. He can use this moment to remind people that he's still one of the quickest comedians when he's locked in. The question is whether he learns anything from it, because the issue isn't talent. Aries has talent. The issue is strategy. If you want more money, you have to negotiate like someone who understands leverage. If you miss the call, you have to clean it up quickly. If your own platform is struggling, you have to study why. And if you're going to call someone else a narcissist, you have to make sure your own ego isn't blocking the lesson.